Hey Linux community, I have a huge problem here. I'm trying to switch from Windows to Linux, and I essentially killed my whole sort of Windows drive and whatnot and installed Bazzite, and all I need is to run CS2 and run OBS properly, and unfortunately I'm having lots of troubles. I was actually in the process of making this cool video, switching from Windows to Linux and how amazing everything is, and unfortunately things have gotten in the past 2 or 3 days to the point that I just want to install back Windows and never touch Linux again. So here's my main problem. I need only 2 things essentially: for OBS to work properly and stream properly, and for CS2, Valve's own game that has a native version, to work properly. So the problems that I'm having, and I'll quickly tell you sort of the specs of my system and what I'm running, and maybe some of you can point to the direction how can I solve it, because I wasn't able so far in 2 days already. I'm running AMD, so I've learned that this is preferred method. It is an old GPU, RX 570, AMD processor, Ryzen 5 2600, 16 gigs of RAM, and I'm running Bazzite 43 desktop edition, KDE Plasma version 664, KDE framework version 625, Qt, I'll put it on the screen, 610.3, kernel version 6.17.7, then lots of stuff after that, and it's running Wayland. So by all accounts I thought it's gonna be sort of a right experience. However, there is no such option when I'm running CS2 to run it full screen. It is either windowed or full screen window, and it introduces a huge amount of input lag essentially. I don't feel that this is even running at 144 Hz inside of the game, and if it does, it's really kind of shitty. Also, the fact I'm running it 4x3 stretched. This is what I need. I need to run it 4x3 stretched in full screen. All of the commands launch options in Steam for a longest time, for a day, they didn't work. I don't know, maybe I needed to reboot, even though I thought in Linux it's more or less instantaneously applied, changes and everything. Not really apparently, but now it runs full screen. Seemingly it stretches properly, not all the time, but some of the time. Sometimes it just runs in a little square 4x3 thing. However, like I'm saying, there is no way it's running as good as on Windows. There is no way it's running smoothly, sort of without some kind of double or triple vsync buffer or things like that. And again, there is still no option inside of the game to simply run full screen properly as it should be and as it does run on Windows. And from some videos that I've sort of found online, people are saying that, oh, what are you talking about? Everything runs properly. And then I'm seeing some of the settings that people are using and it says windowed or full screen window. And I guess people don't know how well the game should run on Windows and does run on Windows. So maybe they don't know what to compare it with. I have no clue. But again, I thought I would be okay because I don't have this high priority. I don't want to run Cyberpunk with ray tracing and all that kind of crazy stuff. I really want to run one game, CS2, run it properly with full proper experience and stream it in the meantime. And here's the other problem with OBS. I need to have essentially 2 chats, in-game chat when I'm pressing mouse free button. I want to sort of chat in-game, and for OBS to capture it. And if I want to simply talk to chat, I press mouse 5, and I want to talk to the chat essentially, without those 2 kind of interacting between each other and without me constantly having essentially hot mic. I don't like that kind of thing. In Windows it works perfectly fine, no problems whatsoever. You just select push to talk, you map it onto the button, that's it, it works. I've tried to do the same, it doesn't do anything. It just doesn't do anything. It doesn't pick up the sound. I'm pressing the button, I'm waiting, nothing happens. I'm talking to the microphone, nothing happens. So both of these problems, from what I've seen online, open tickets on GitHub and whatever, the issues are known, one for 1 year, basically, another for a couple years, and I just don't understand. Am I losing my mind? Is this the problem with my setup, my particular system with this kind of version that I installed? What should I do? How can I fix it? If anybody else plays CS, again, can you please check if there is an option for like proper full screen version with like proper selection, like me selecting, okay, 144 hertz or whatever, 240, however many hertz you might have on the monitor, and that it actually works, and like there is no like this like laggy input essentially. Can somebody please check it? And also, if you're running like 4x3 also stretched resolution, does it also look so kind of, I don't know, like sort of jagged, liney and like awful? Because on Windows it doesn't. On Windows I'm not using like MSAA because obviously it kills the performance, and this is an old GPU. I'm using maximum, not like trilinear or the next best after a trilinear scale, like 2x anisotropic filtering, I think, and that's it. And the game looks pretty crisp and pretty sharp. Yet on Linux, it like visibly, when I'm switching to 4x3, it is visibly way worse. It's like as if there is no like, I don't know, sort of like sub-pixel smoothing or something like that, like macOS is using, apparently like Windows uses something like that. Is there no thing like that on Linux? Like, what is going on? Again, like just a few days ago, and like Windows decided like to completely shit on me and like crashed, and the only way I was able to restore it by essentially like restarting, like resetting the whole thing, so it deleted everything. So I was like, you know what, that's a sign. That's a sign for me to finally switch to Linux. And I was like, you know what, great. I was so happy. I recorded the video. I haven't uploaded the video by the time I'm uploading this one, because again, I was hoping to make like a series of videos showing you the experience, showing like the experience to somebody else who will be like new maybe to Linux. And now I will be showing my experience switching to Linux, only this is a completely awful experience so far anyway. Again, I'm open to maybe installing something else. I chose Bazzite specifically because I learned about this immutable atomic sort of distribution systems. I kind of like this sort of system. I know that probably a lot of like Linux nerds will maybe not really like appreciate that whole kind of paradigm, but I know that macOS is doing this, and macOS is basically my main computer, and I'm using Windows essentially only to game. And I thought, you know what, for one game, Valve's native game, the most popular game on Steam, with native Linux support, surely there will be no problems on Linux. Surely. There is no way the most popular Valve's native version of the game on Linux will be fucking shit. And yet here we are, and I'm starting to get pissed again because I've wasted already like 3 or 4 days trying to figure it all out, and I can't. And it's not like I don't understand at all anything about the computers and things like that. I've been managing computers for myself, for my family, for like other people around me years and years, probably like 20 years by now. And yet with this thing, and I've been using Linux again, like I don't want to go like through all of the history and whatnot, because that's the videos I already recorded and like was in the process of kind of editing were about. And this one is just like, please somebody like from Linux community, please guys, help me out. Because again, like some people even like on threads reached out like, well, you know, kind of shit out of luck. And I'm like, okay, what are you using shit out of luck? Like your shit out of luck doesn't really help me. Some people responded, some did not. Like, so I'm just like essentially asking for Linux community on YouTube, please, like, can you check it on your system? CS2 is free now. If you don't have it, maybe you can install it. I know it's like 60 gigabytes download, but maybe you can, and I would like highly appreciate it, because I just don't know what's going on, and I kind of want to make sure that on some other version, some other distribution, whatever, maybe with some other like newer updates or something like that, this shit works. Because like I said, I chose this Bazzite because it has this like core of the system that probably will not break. Again, like macOS has that like read-only sort of section of OS, simply because I was thinking if I will screw something up, you know what, I can always like roll back to this like base system anyway. And now I'm thinking like maybe I did something wrong, maybe like I should have picked like CachyOS, but I've heard it's based on Arch, and it's like maybe like a little kind of more involved and maybe a little harder and so on and so forth. So a lot of people recommended Bazzite based on Fedora. Again, this like whole like core that sort of stays the same, at least with these blue versions or whatever they're called there. And now I'm like completely sort of lost, really. Because again, like I'm trying to read forums, I'm trying to understand I've learned there's like some game scope or whatever, but I don't know, it seems like I can't install it, even though I'm pretty sure like yesterday I installed it. Now I can't find it anymore. It's just, again, like it's just such a mess that I wanted to switch from Windows. So Windows doesn't bother me anymore with all the bullshit, all the constant fucking like stealing the data from like on the background, and like always like running some processes on the background when I'm playing the game, and it's like bugging down my SSD and whatnot, and like fucking freezes the whole system and shit like that. And here I am like on Linux, I'm just trying to solve the basic thing. Can my fucking game work full screen, and can fucking OBS work with push to talk properly? And so far it's a no and no. So yeah, I'm sorry, like I'm coming sort of to this community essentially. Again, I've been a part of this community 15 some years ago, and truthfully the things went kind of the same way. There were like a lot of like tweaking and kind of, you know, sort of wondering about what does this do, what does this do, okay, well, that's cool, but back then I was like 18 years old or whatever. I didn't care, I had a lot of time. Now I'm way older, like I don't want to waste my time tweaking constantly and like trying to figure out like basic shit. It's okay if I want to do that, all right? It's okay, it's great that Linux gives the opportunity to control everything and blah blah blah. And so far it's been quite a lightweight system, obviously, no fucking nagging, no ads and stuff like that. But I can't waste my time, waste days, literal days of my time trying to launch a fucking Counter-Strike. This is like, I can't, this is unacceptable. So if you have a solution, please let me know, because I will upload this video right now. It is 28th of April 2026, and like, I don't know, I will give it like a day or two, I don't know, maybe somebody will respond, maybe people will not respond to it, and then I'm just ready to move back to Windows, unfortunately. I don't want to do this. I was so happy. You will see, like, if you will check my video that I will upload next probably, or a couple videos next, how excited I was when Windows actually died on me and like pushed me essentially to like, okay, you know what, that's a sign, I should go to Linux finally, should pick a distribution and whatnot, and like finally I will learn something new, I will enjoy my time, no more like fucking Windows bullshit. But then boom, but here's Linux bullshit. 20 years later, basically the same thing, still no option to just press play, forget, don't worry about stuff. So yeah, again, this is like already 15-minute video, but you know, the first 5 minutes were the most important ones. So I'll just edit it quickly to something cohesive and shorter. But again, like, I'm laughing through tears already, because it's so frustrating that I simply wanted to play CS and be able to stream it the way I set up the streaming. Again, 2 buttons to work push to talk in 2 different sort of ways. One in-game, one for chat, that's it. Nothing too fancy. I don't think it's like such a huge ask really, and I didn't think it's gonna be such a huge ask for Valve's own best, like the most important, well, kind of the most important, one of the most important, definitely their cash bringing cow title to work properly in Linux, since they dropped, first ruined and then dropped completely support for macOS. right when Apple actually created M1 series of chips with an amazing performance that would satisfy any sort of prerequisites for and requirements for CSGO and then CS2. Pff, stellar. Anyway, this is not the video about Valve, but please help me out. Please help me out, because I don't want to go back to Windows. I really don't. But I really don't want to struggle with Linux for foreseeable future, because it gives me even more problems than Windows did. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for anybody and everyone who hopefully will kind of reach out and maybe give some advice, give some solution. Again, if somebody can test on your own system, if it actually runs, if CS2 actually runs properly with proper full screen, proper like 144 Hz, it's like proper responsiveness of that whole system. Because on a desktop, I see that the computer is running 144 Hz, it's fine, the mouse moves basically exactly how I expect it to be, and yet in game it's completely laggish garbage and it's unplayable for any serious kind of ranked game. So yeah, anyway, I hope that this community will help me out, and will help me out and will help out other people essentially in this, with this problem. And so yeah, okay, I will be reading the comments and I'm really hopeful that some of you will offer some solution. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it once again, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.